I know. We're loving it though. 5 episodes in, we're still going strong, and we're back. Thank you guys for joining us for another beautiful, fun episode of Two Bots, One Game. As always, your boys Sully and Popey are here, and looking forward to a good conversation tonight. A lot going on, but sometimes it's just good to check on your people and make sure that they're doing good. So, have you had a great week so far?
Been pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
pretty tired.
Yeah.
I can't grind Valorant all day. I have to grind a job.
Imagine actually
Super
having to
lame.
go into the office for work. That's crazy.
Freaking lame. But I've been doing all right in my ranked games, so
Yep.
pretty good.
Have you? You're close to climbing back to where you were pre-rank reset, right?
Yeah, I'm Diamond 2. I was Diamond 3.
You're wow. Forget what we got. Like 2 weeks left, 2.5 weeks left. Something slight
I don't
to
know.
be able to get back. So, um, yeah. No, it's been a good week and looking forward to a good weekend. I think we're doing really solid this week by actually getting our podcast recorded on the day that we say that we're going to record it.
We did
Missed
it this week.
missed a couple hours, but
Hey,
we said
whatever.
Thursday and we hit Thursday. Um, we'll give our first excuse of saying that we pushed it back because we just watched probably one of the craziest games of VCT lock-in so far. Um, I don't know if you guys have been following it super close. Some games have been much better than others, even today. It is February 23rd. We saw a game today where RRQ plays footballers, the Turkish team, FUT.
Footballist.
Not a great game. And then tonight you watch 100 Thieves scrape together some kind of comeback against EDG, overtime, map 3, crazy freaking game.
Yeah, I see that in
Um,
the chat.
yeah,
Thought it was over after it blew the 5v2. I was when I saw that like that 2v5 that Edward Gaming won, I
yeah,
was like, yo, that was the biggest throw I've ever seen.
yeah.
I thought the game was
And
over.
then I don't know if it was to go into overtime, but when the Vipers pit comes down, it was either round 23 or round 24, and Stellar gets the read of where they're both at in
That
the
was that
Vipers
was
pit.
to go into overtime, I'm pretty sure.
That was one of the
That was
best
a
just
hard read.
straight reads I've ever seen.
That was big brain Stellar.
He had
Like that
about
was
he had
crazy.
about 10 seconds sitting bottom art to contemplate what are these dudes doing right now? And
Yeah.
then he committed to it.
Put it together. He was like, what's the best play? Oh, they're gonna hold a
Yeah, check
cross.
his PC.
They're gonna hold a cross down this lane. Okay, let me just spam the edge of this one lane. Get some.
Pings it too. Crazy.
Crazy.
Um, but there's been a lot going on. So before we hop into VCT, I think I want to talk VCT rosters first. So before we talk about any of the games and what we're seeing, let's look at Twitter, the lovely all truth telling platform run by Mr. Musk himself. Coming out this afternoon, sources say that Ye will not be part of Cloud9's active roster moving forward. Unknown who will replace him at this time. Now, what's tough is all of this stuff was coming out with a bunch of memes. So the guys, Zelsis, Zeppa, Cloud9 guys, and then a bunch of the NRG guys, Artis, Som, all tweeted essentially the exact same thing. And it's, I forget what it was like, I'm no longer part of whatever team they're a part of, ... No words, contact my coach. So the Cloud9 guys were tagging CE, and the NRG guys were tagging Chet. Marv comes out with the little Simpsons contract signing gif.
Why does everyone have to do that?
Honestly, that is the most frustrating gif that I've seen.
That it's so annoying. Why does every single
Everyone uses
person
it.
have to do that?
There's got to be another gif out there, and if there's not, we got to
It's also
step
like
on
you
this.
don't have to do a GIF. Like just don't tell. That's like the weirdest way to tell people that you've signed for a major org.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
whenever
It's just weird.
whenever I saw it this afternoon, I was like, "Oh no way!" Like this is getting crazy. How you play in one tournament and then change, and then the more that I sat there and thought about it, I was like, you don't play in one tournament and then change. Like that makes zero sense.
It's weird.
Um, and based on the fact that every tweet was the same, um, I have a feeling it was some pretty hard memes, and I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope that's the case. Now, with Marv tweeting the contract sign, I don't know what that could be. That could be a whole different story. And I think this Yay thing, I don't know if someone leaked like wrong information, because Yay responds to this tweet, these leaks, with wait, what? Like he gets totally caught off guard. And wow, what a great segue I just dropped, because
Hey,
I was
wait.
saying,
Bold prediction.
okay,
I'm saying whole Optic 5 is gonna go to NRG. I don't know if anything
what
is
if they
like
just straight
big.
swapped
I
Cloud9
ju-
and NRG, just straight swap Yay and Artis and Som and Marv?
I just want to say it here on the recording, so if it happens, you heard it here first. Yay, Marv, Victor, Crashies, and FNS all on energy. Hey, we'll see.
So, I mean, that's bold. But back to my perfect segue that we
Sorry,
really
dude.
didn't segue off of. I said, get caught off guard. Speaking of off guard, everyone is off guard.
Oh, tragic.
I didn't pull up a link real quick, but I'll hop to just
That
some of the
actually was a good
tweets.
good dad joke.
I appreciate that.
Off guard.
Let's see, the guard. Let's walk through what has happened. So, um, if you guys didn't see on Twitter this morning, allegedly the guard cut their talent, their casters, their staff, some of their teams. I'm pretty sure guard's Apex team is for sure cut. Now their Call of Duty team, the LA something. I don't follow Call of Duty League. They have two other teams that are under the guard but are named something different for the league that they're a part of. They're not confirmed whether they're gone or not, and neither is their challengers Valorant team. See if we can find. Yeah, this was Sentinel's response to the allegations that came out. So if true, they were swinging. Um, but yeah, it's wild. For just a whole team, a team that we put as the S tier team in challengers, for the org to simply kind of just seems like it fell apart realistically. Like, um, before we hopped on stream, you made a comment about, I don't think people should be shocked whenever these esports organizations just kind of disappear in a morning, right? And I'd love if you kind of just gave your insight on why you think that is the case.
Yeah, I think that esports gets equated a lot to like regular sports, which there are a lot of connections, but I think that the longevity of esports is like a lot less certain than regular sports, and so because of that, like in esports, there's a lot of quick decision making, like let's just cut everyone. Let's just get rid of the whole team, or let's just like cut like two guys that we just signed, get rid of them. Like that never happens in, let's say, like football. Like let's say an NFL team buys a really nice quarterback and then they play week 1 and they lose, like no NFL team has cut the dude at week 1. That decision's usually made like maybe during the season, and it would be like later in the season.
Hmm.
If it's even made in the season, it's probably waited till like the end of the season or after
Mm-hmm.
the season. But like in esports, because like games don't necessarily always last the longest, like there's not as much money in it. All these like sorts of things come together to make just like weird things happening, like people getting cut out of the blue.
Yeah.
Um, and I think also because it's all online, like maybe things get swept under the rug easier. I don't know, but
Like this isn't going to get covered on Sports Center.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If this was the NFL or the NBA or the MLB, probably even like AAA baseball, like minor league baseball, it'd probably get some coverage, right? Stan Kroenke is the owner of the Guard. He's also the owner of the LA Rams, of Arsenal FC, the English Premier football team. And I saw some stuff on Twitter today just being like, he is a multi-billionaire. Why does he just drop out of esports completely? Like he has the money to fund it. Um, and I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate to that argument, right? Is you don't become a billionaire by staying in not profitable businesses.
Yeah.
Um, and if it was a passion project, like if we were sitting here talking about disguised toast right now, it would make it would be a lot harder for us to see like why'd he pull out. Oh, he was losing lots of money. Like he was obviously passionate about it. He wanted to make it work, but he was losing a crap ton of money, and it probably hurt him to pull out. When we look at this guy and we're like, it's not a passion project. He's got all the money, like he's just trying to grow his business. So
He probably doesn't even understand it. He probably just has like a manager who like
yeah,
does all of it.
I mean, even if it was a passion project, you'd never know, and he'd still pull out because he was losing money. Like, right?
Can
Like,
you imagine this guy liking esports? Like
you're telling me
him like
this dude is not what you have in
he
mind?
loves the guard. He loves watching the guard play Valorant. No way.
Yeah, probably not likely. Um, so let's hop back to lock in. We can talk a lot more about these games going on. We've gotten to see the first 5 games, 6 games of our Omega bracket. Um, some games better than others, but what has been your thoughts so far on the level of talent we've seen on this Omega bracket versus what we saw on the first round of the Alpha bracket?
Um, Let me pull it up. I think talent-wise, so far, I think we've seen worse gameplay, in my opinion.
Yep,
Um,
I can see that.
some pretty mediocre teams like Crew, Zeta, Global Esports, and Vitality were both kind of mediocre. Footballist and Rex, whatever that is, Regum,
RRQ.
kind of mediocre.
Yeah,
And then Liquid was a massive disappointment.
massive
So
disappointment.
I think, yeah, I mean, the games just honestly haven't been as good until we got to the 100 Thieves game today. That was a crazy, really
Which
good
which
game.
that shouldn't have been as good as it was,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I thought it was gonna be a smackdown, but that was a really good game. But then like on the other side, like it was just nonstop. Like there was, other than Giants, Detonation, whatever, like if I look at every other one of the series, like the starting first round, there was a team that I would consider solid in all of them. NRG, Loud, Carmine, DRX, Cloud9,
Mm-hmm.
EG, and Talon. So yeah, I think the talent's been a little bit lower on the scale so far, but still a lot to pull.
Yeah, and still a couple really strong teams to play tomorrow in Sentinels and Fnatic, and we're not sure what T1 or Furia will look like. But you should have, at least one pretty solid game tomorrow. Let's talk about the Team Liquid Team Secret game. A lot of people came in with some expectations for Nats. He succeeded. I thought he still played really well. Um, for as popular as the rest of his team was and is, like you can look at this roster and you know everybody on it.
Yeah.
You can look at some of these other rosters and you might not have recognized any of these guys before, right? Nats, Yampi, Redgar, Safe, Soulcast. They looked pretty bad. Yampi was decent, but
Pretty
Redgar, Safe, and
horrific.
Soulcast, I think it was, yeah, this fracture game. Soulcast -8, Safe -9, Redgar -12. Three guys,
Pretty bad.
125 ACS or less. I mean,
Edgar got 5 kills in 20 rounds. Pretty bad.
so it's just like, why do you think they underperformed? Did you get to watch this one?
I didn't get to watch Icebox. I got to watch Fracture. I honestly don't know. I think Team Secret may be just better than expected,
Yeah.
and I genuinely don't know. I mean, Nats played really well in the second map, and I think that Secret just had the upper hand on like in every way. They were winning, like at least in the Fracture game, they were winning like every um duel, and then like
Mm-hmm.
every little thing that they tried, it worked. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, statistically, like eventually there's always going to be like a surprise game, and I've kind of vented in the past about how like especially in this single elim tournament, it's really annoying that it's like best of 3, because at least in my opinion, like I could have one bad game
Mm-hmm.
and I could maybe have 2 bad games, but like if I go to 3 bad games, I just feel like that could be more telling of who's better. Like if it was a best of 5 and Liquid is down 2-0 in this and they lose again and then it becomes 3-0, then it's like we can be very certain that Secret is better, but
Yeah.
maybe Secret just caught Liquid out twice, and on a later map they would have done something different. I don't know. I get annoyed
Yeah.
with the limitation of the games.
You know how I'm blanking on the name of it, but whenever they bring back old skins to the store, what's that
Uh,
called?
Night market?
No, no, no. Like at the end of the year, you get to vote on which
It's like
skins.
player's choice or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Imagine if you did like a run it back and
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Run it back.
okay, cool. I
That's
see.
literally what
I
it's
was
called.
locked in. Um, imagine if you had a run it back tournament where you got to go in. This is the very first tournament we have, right? Some of these teams that are willing to try something completely outside of the scope of what would be called reasonable by some of these larger, more established organizations. Um, they they catch somebody off guard and get a win, right? Single elimination tournament, they don't get to run it back. At the end of the year, the people get to vote on what matches from the VCT lock-in they want to see replayed, and they get the chance to run it back. Because some of these teams are way newer than some others, right? Some of these teams you're still figuring out chemistry. 100 Thieves shouldn't be having chemistry issues. NRG probably shouldn't be having chemistry issues because you just have the core and the coach and stuff like that. But like a team like Sentinels, you keep one guy, that's like you're gonna have to be working towards some stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to see how these results would hold up to a run it back tournament at the end of the year. And like would they be consistent? I would imagine that some of the more um, teams with higher expectations probably catch up to those expectations by the time the year end comes around, whereas maybe they weren't ready right now. I have to remember some of these teams really haven't been playing together for that long. Um,
Yeah, I
When was
mean,
the Tarek
this
Ludwig
was
Invitational?
like 2 months ago.
Yeah, and Sentinels hadn't practiced really together before then. So
No.
in 6 more months, Sentinels should be a lot better than right now. Um, what were you gonna
Speaking
say?
about to touch on Liquid again, like Liquid's such a big org, they're not gonna really accept like this type of result. And so again, like back to me talking about like I guess like statistics, it's like yeah, you could lose a best of three and kind of get caught out, and maybe that just happened with Liquid, and maybe Liquid actually is like really solid, but like if Liquid doesn't make changes now, which we talked about how esports make quick decisions
Yeah.
earlier, so they probably might already make a decision, but if they underperform again, like they're definitely gonna make some drastic changes. And I always thought Redgar and Soulcast were kind of weak anyway, so
Yeah. I never thought Redgar was great. Um, I guarantee you're going to see some shuffling. It'll be interesting if you see it after this first tournament, though. One single elim tournament would be a tough judgment call to make.
I just think it wouldn't be. Sorry, I have to vent on this skin. It wouldn't be that hard to just make all these games best of five because it's single elim anyway. And in total, if you make it all the way through, you play one, two, three, you play five best of fives rather than four best of threes and one best of five. So at the maximum, you're playing 8 more maps across 2 weeks. It's like, I don't know.
It's not that unreasonable to think that way.
I mean, you're only playing one per day, like
Yeah.
at the max, and you get like a 3-day break between each game. It's like, sorry, it triggers me.
No, I think it's a good thing to bring up. Is there are a lot of ways that this tournament could have been made better.
Like, what I don't understand is how these teams that are losing on the stage, all of them look so chill. Like, maybe they're just not, they have to be competitors. Like, I don't want to say they're not competitors, but like, if that's me and I committed like a month of my life living in Brazil,
Yeah.
because like they've literally been in Brazil. These Omega teams, not for a month, but I remember seeing on like Cryo's stream, they went like on like February 12th or something like that. So they've been there 11 days. If they lost today, they would have had to fly home like probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 weeks. So like I spent 2 weeks in Brazil and I lost one best of three and I have to go home. That's just, it's probably fun being in Brazil, but it's pretty stupid
Yeah.
in
I
my
don't know
opinion.
how much money Riot gives these teams either, but I'm thinking these Chinese teams, you gotta fly all the way from China to Brazil.
Yeah. And they have to fly back now. And they've been there for like 2 or 3 weeks. It's like they
Yeah.
got to play 3 maps of Valorant for 3 weeks of time.
Mm-hmm. FPX lost too, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, both the
Both
Chinese
Chinese
teams
teams
instantly
instantly take
sent
a flight
home.
back. Yeah,
All the
that's
visa stuff, all the getting everything together for 3 maps of Valorant. FPX only got to play 2 maps of Valorant. Oh, no, they got to play
they gotta
three
play
too.
3. Yeah.
Hey, 3 whole maps of Valorant for 3 weeks in another country and probably like 30 hours of flying.
And a lot of money. Well, let's go to the last thing that I know you and I both noticed it. And it's really interesting. One being a lot of teams floated Lotus. Looking right here at the map numbers, we've played 48 maps so far, 12 Pearl, 8 Haven, 7 Icebox, 7 Lotus, 5 Ascent, 5 Fracture, and 4 Split. I don't think I could have picked that. I don't think I could have picked that being the order of the map pool that teams are playing. Pearl, I understand and I like. Like I fully agree that Pearl is a great map. Whenever you and I were looking through it, Pearl and Lotus have some of the highest variation in comp out of any of the maps. Whenever you look at a spread like this, the only agents who have not been played on Pearl are Neon, Brim, Chamber, and Reyna. So four of the 20, 4 of the 21. Why am I blanking on how many agents are in this game? Yeah, 4 out of the 20 right now. Okay.
There's 20? I thought there was 21.
Well, it's number 21 because they're missing agent 8 or 13.
Gotcha.
Lotus. Everyone has been played on Lotus besides Brim and Phoenix. That's crazy that these teams are willing to try, and I think as a fan, as a viewer, it's made it
Cool.
so much more interesting to watch.
It's really cool.
I also just like how much teams are floating those maps. I think Pearl is going to replace Haven in my mind. Or sorry, I think Lotus will replace Haven eventually. I think there's a lot more to do strategically. I think the comp variation people are fans of. I think you will see the comp variation dwindle the more and more we get into the season, but we've been working with our team on understanding the comp we want to play, and it's really asking yourself the question, how do I want to play this map? And then I get to go build a comp around that. There's not a I have to do this, so I have to use this agent. Right? That's been really cool. Pearl's been my most fun map to watch. It's so variable in how you can play it, but like there are certain things that are consistent across each comp. Mid is important. There's going to be a lurk coming in. Teams will either focus mid or they will not focus mid. Like, it's cool to see how different teams have created, analyzed, concocted their best take on those two maps in particular. I feel like everything else is almost kind of solved. It's not as creative. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far as map and composition?
Something I just noticed was the top 4 maps chosen are like have a higher attack percentage win rate, and
Hmm.
then the bottom 3 have a higher defense win rate, except Fracture is 50-50. But
Yep.
so the top 4 are all like on the plus side for attack, and the bottom 3 are not plus side on the attack.
Yeah.
And so it almost makes me think like the maps that people pick are the ones that they have like these crazy like execute strats on that work really well, and so that's
Yep.
why attacking works better, I guess. It's just really interesting because like I'm looking at the Challengers League so far, and uh, there's more defensive rounds won, and then in the Challengers Open qualifiers, it's 50-50 attack defense. So seeing over the 48 maps, we've got a 53% attack win rate and a 47% defense win rate. It's interesting. It's like, why is attack winning more across these 50 games at this tournament? And I think it's just because I guess they have like such crazy ironed out executes. Everything just works in tandem so well.
Yeah. They've
That's my
asked all the
guess.
questions. I'm assuming that has to do with it too. It's just how smart they play.
Yeah.
There has to be some level of, well, think just kind of logically, outside of tier 1, you don't have coaching staffs. Like some of these challengers teams might, like the guard. Well, the guard might have.
They did.
M80, um, different stuff like that. But some of these smaller tier 2, successful tier 3 teams, you're lucky if you have a head coach. And then you have someone scheduling scrims. But you don't have I'm just thinking Sentinels just because they've been very open with their coaching staff, right? Head coach, Psycho. Strategic coach, Kaplan. Analyst, Drew. Like, you have a coaching staff of at least 3 dudes.
Yeah.
You're just going to have better thoughts. You're
constantly
gonna sit down
crafting
and
up
challenge each
something
other.
new.
I mean, shoot, Def's what, 30?
Yeah, he's a smart dude too.
Yeah, I guarantee he's in there in those conversations as well. So just being able to draw on so many different knowledge bases, I mean, it's got to be huge whenever it comes to it. And I guess you're starting to see that in the numbers now on these efficiency of attack, effectiveness of attack across all the different tiers. You can see how it makes sense, right?
I think also just something to note is Lotus 59% attack. That's the highest on the board.
Yeah.
And I guess that could also be something about, you know, teams iron out their executes really well. And because it's a new map, people don't really know how to handle it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But my initial thought about Lotus was I actually thought it was going to somehow be a defensive map, even though it had 3 sites.
Yep.
Because Haven's a 3-site map, and it's very obviously an attack-sided map because it's spread so much, and you have to like spread your team across the 3 sites.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought because the Lotus like channels or entry points for all the sites were so tight, it would actually be defensive. But I was wrong. So obviously you can see. I mean, maybe over time it will be more as people learn, like figure out the executes more. But
Yeah. And you're playing against comps you've never seen before. So you've had
yeah,
no chance to prepare for them. Yeah, I mean, it's been very fun to watch. I have my gripes. Everyone has their gripes, but it's been a great event to watch so far. Really excited to see Sentinels play tomorrow. Honestly excited to see the Final Four. I think that's going to
true.
be the most interesting.
As the games narrow in, the games get so good. Like,
Yeah,
and that was what happened on the alpha side. Like those last 2 series were so good.
yeah. Well, I'm just proud of us getting an episode knocked out on a Thursday night. It's been fun. Unlike the guard, we're not going to drop ourselves. So we will
Oof.
see you guys again next week, next Thursday. Fingers crossed. Next Thursday, it definitely be a little bit later, but we look forward to having you back as always. Join us live on stream Thursday nights at twitch.tv/Coach Sulli. And then don't forget to check out our socials. We are on Twitter and YouTube. You can find us at 2bots1game. As always, we appreciate the love and support, and we'll catch you guys next time.